What up, what up, what up, what up? In the words of my girl Kiki, what's up, y'all? I'm Caitlin Leggett, your favorite journalist, digital media, all things digital girly, and former athlete. Back with another episode of the She Don't Miss podcast, where we're tapping in with female athletes across the board. I'm talking about football, volleyball, basketball, anything, you know what I'm saying? Any sport. Like, we just tapping in to all the nitty gritty. I am here today with my girl Lauren Weaver. Lauren and I played volleyball at North Carolina Wesleyan together, and my girl just got back from overseas. She was in Poland, doing a stint there. Yeah.
Mania.
Oh yeah, basically.
One of those.
One of those. But yeah, we about to get into it. Okay, so we gonna get straight to it. You were at North Carolina Wesleyan a year before I was. So y'all don't know, I transferred into Wesleyan my sophomore year of school, but she was there since freshman year. So you played all 4 years. Talk to me about what it was like for you playing volleyball at North Carolina Wesleyan, playing under Vicky. Not too much of my girl, because I love her down. But you know what I'm saying? I want you to be honest.
And I also love her down.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard like before I got there, she was very, very, very tough on them. Like she was one of the crazy coaches. And it's kind of like when we got there, and then she started to have, she had her first kid and everything. She started to settle down. So I feel like for me, I didn't really get such a glimpse of crazy Vicky. My freshman year, though, maybe that was the most I would have got, like where we had to do suicides and girls are crying, like at the end of the suicides. But that was my freshman year and it never happened again. But it wasn't so bad for me because when I was in club in high school, I had a very crazy coach. So it wasn't so bad. But Wesleyan, it was just one of those things where like your teammates are the reason, you know what I mean? Like your girls are the reason. We like didn't play so well. Like my freshman year, we lost a lot. We got a little better the next year and then a little better the next year. Then my senior year was the best that we had been. But that takes time, and I feel as though that's a chemistry thing. That's because I was with some of the same girls who were there since freshman year, who stayed till senior year, or even from sophomore year, like you, till senior year. Like we have a bond, and I don't think people know how much how important that is in volleyball. Like you can be as talented as you want, but like if your girls don't like each other, if y'all don't have no chemistry, like you simply will not be successful. It's so simple. Attitude is such a big part of volleyball. Some other sports you can kind of fake the attitude, the chemistry part, and still somehow win. But with volleyball, it's so important. So for that, I mean, I always appreciate Wesleyan because we had a great bond, and I feel as though as the years went on and we got closer, we started to win more simply because of that big factor. So I can't complain. I love my time. I love Vicky so much. Shout out to her. I always appreciate her. Things were a little hard at first though. I don't even think we cared about winning so much. Like she did, but not us, like the team. Like we were just happy to be there. We was close and everything. So as we start to build more, we're around, we get more bought in if we're there longer. So that's what happened by my senior year. And so I loved it. It was an experience. Do I wish, we could have done a little better? Of course, everybody does. But you know how it was our senior year? Like that was our
Yeah.
year.
We gave her her best record in 10 years.
In 10
Clock
years,
it. Yeah.
literally. And I don't know, we don't know when that would happen again.
Right.
And because as soon as we left, the
Yeah, I
team
ain't gonna lie. I
back.
don't know what she was doing recruiting wise, cause
You see, when we left, like they wasn't
yeah,
get ready to compete for the playoffs and stuff like that. How we was like upsetting like Avery and stuff like that, upsetting the
yeah,
best. So you know how it was. Like you know how
yeah,
close we were. You see how much that's a factor in. I would say women's sports
for
for
sure. But I
but
think volleyball is also just very specific because I think volleyball is a game of momentum. And I think that's too like how you get, you know what I'm saying? You get people going into the tournament that have never been every year upsetting, you know what I'm saying, some of the biggest schools. So I think like volleyball is such a, you know what I'm saying? You could be up 3 sets or you could be up 2 sets and then come back and lose, like, and somebody get you 3 sets, that type of thing. So I definitely agree that it's a huge like momentum sport, and that chemistry definitely has to be there. And I think we were very specific, like we were so close on campus. Like I feel like everybody knew who we were, and we may have spoke to everybody, but we did not hang out with anybody but each other. Like
Right.
realistically, I'm like,
Right.
yeah.
Like
And
I
I
don't,
think that also has a lot to do with COVID too.
the NARPs, how we say the NARPs. We don't know the non-athletic regular persons. Okay, like those are associates. We just go to school with y'all. But like,
But we here to play volleyball, not gonna lie. And I think also too though, what people don't realize is like Wesleyan is a PWI for sure, but the
yeah,
school is 70% black because there are so many athletes. Like everybody comes there to play a sport. Nobody goes to Wesleyan just to go to Wesleyan, and if you did, I'm confused. Like
from Rocky Mount or something.
yeah, like it just I don't know. Like I don't know what the school's rates are like academically. I mean, I think the school gave me a great foundation for what it could do for itself, right? Like
Right, right.
but realistically, like we went there to play volleyball. Like I know when I transferred in, I knew who Vicky was before I transferred in, but I
Oh,
had always heard bad things. Like you did. Like I heard Vicky was crazy. Like so I was like, oh, okay, I'm not going
about her
because I'm
before.
from Durham. So
Okay.
I, you know what I'm saying? I've been knowing CB, I've been knowing Chris Sauls. Like I just heard,
Okay.
like when we were getting recruited at the time, it was like you heard different things from different places. And to me personally, at first, Wesleyan was just too close. Like it was an hour away from Durham. Like I didn't even consider Wesleyan when I was going off to school. That's why I went away to Boston. So literally the day that I put my name in that transfer portal, Vicky was the first
Boston.
person to call me. Vicky
Yeah.
called me like, "So you coming to Wesleyan?" And I was like,
I guess
I guess so.
so.
I think I, but
Right.
I definitely do think like I was invested in Vicky and the team more than anything. Like she looked after us, I feel like in a way that most coaches don't. So like
Oh,
what was that like for you to kind of, being from Brandywine, being from, out that way,
mhm,
you several hours away from home,
mhm.
right? Not having mom and dad there, that type of thing. Like, what was that like for you, just as far as like coaching wise? Yeah.
So the thing is, like, when I first went, I knew I was gonna go to West End because, it's D3. So I got the most athletic money and any place else that I was considering to go. And of course, the first priority for me was I want to make sure that it's not as less money for my parents or for loans to contribute.
Right.
So I'm going to go to Wesleyan. And I remember being worried that it was in North Carolina, that I had to live in the South. Because, I'm a
No,
true,
we below the Mason-Dixon line.
I'm a true measy, like, Maryland all my life. So I was like, how is this about to go? And mind you, I'm in PG County, where it's majority black people. Like, it's kind of a novelty to see white people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're in PG County. I'm around people who look like me all the time. So I'm about to go to the South in the country
Mm-hmm.
and see what happens. And I just saw all of my fears that I had about it. Like, as soon as I met Vicky, I just knew like that was not going to be a problem. She is so like, she's from Ohio. So it's like
Yeah.
she's a northerner. So it's like, I fool with her heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And then she made it very clear, like she's not, well, she's not a southerner. She's not from North Carolina. She played D2 at Clarion. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they're a very good D2 team and always have been.
Mm-hmm.
From Ohio, and it's like she made me feel very welcome, and all those things I was worried about, considering like being in the South was not a problem. So I love that about her. Maybe except, like I said, I had a tough coach before. Maybe except a couple of times she would kind of try to be a little crazy in practice and, make us do some extra conditioning. Because, mind you, we weren't so good.
Mm-hmm.
Had punishments, It was one of those things where, like, I was getting in trouble as a freshman doing stuff.
Um.
And Bijou got caught we're doing something that our team is upset with us for. And,
Mm-hmm.
we got to get punished in
Mm-hmm.
we got to do towel pushes for an hour or something.
Right.
That's how it was.
Mm-hmm.
Our freshman class was the most it had been in a while. There was 8, 9 of us.
That's another thing. Like Playing volleyball, if you don't know, volleyball is a white girl sport. So to be black playing volleyball, a lot of times you're the only ones. When I was a freshman in college, I was the only black girl on my team.
Hmm.
When I got there with y'all, there were four of us. And what, it was only two of y'all before?
It was just us two before you got.
Yeah, it was just Lauren and Bijou. When Caitlin, my other teammate, and I got there, it made four of us. So
Right.
it's a sport where you're consistently the minority in any space. And a lot of times, too, like as athletes, we are hitters. It's
Right.
very rare you see black setters. And I say rare, like obviously the sport is growing, but it's very rare you see
Yeah.
black setters, black
Yeah.
liberos. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're hitters because we're athletic. Yeah.
Right. Right. And it was definitely we had definitely had to get adjusted to that, as soon as we got there, because it's me. Before you got there, it's me and Bijou. It's just us. Okay, we got to stick together. This my girl.
Right.
We doing stuff on our own. And mind you, Wesleyan is this big. For those who don't know,
Tiny.
this big. The stuff that we doing or things that we do are
It
being
travels.
by our coach
Mm-hmm.
in the day. And I'm not saying like we doing stuff that's like wild.
Crazy. But you know what I'm saying? Like we were young.
Yeah, let's say like we had a curfew as a team, and maybe like they heard that we was out like at the student center
Mm-hmm.
as curfew. Like now it's a big team meeting, and
Right.
then they got to tell Vicky, but Vicky is not really caring. She's not mad. She's like, I got to set an example. So
Right.
to do something in practice as a lesson, and then it never happens again.
Mm-hmm. Cause I feel like too, Vicky was a fair coach. Like one thing that I can, and I always say this, like I say Vicky really may be, you know what I'm saying? It's a couple of people, it's a couple of palm colored folk that I really rock with in this lifetime, and Vicky is one of them. Vicky will be at my wedding because Vicky took care of us like we were her
Right.
kids. And she would always say, like, as much as, I don't want you to do these things, like, I understand that y'all are young. Please call me first. Like, I want to know that you're safe. I want to know that you're okay. So I feel like she was always a very fair coach. And so, honestly, like, the Vicky that I heard about before, I don't know who I don't know if that was truly just rumors
I don't
or
know that.
what, but I'm talking about Vicky was a phenomenal coach.
Yeah, it helps when you could try to make yourself relatable to your players. Like that thing about call me first.
Mm-hmm.
In my head, I'm thinking like, oh, you're crazy. You're the last person I want
I'm
to.
gonna call. I'm scared to get in trouble.
But really, like, she was serious. Like,
Mm-hmm.
call you first. She the type to make sure she could get something together.
Right.
You could not be in trouble.
Right.
Like by the school, like she is that protective. And
Mm-hmm.
further into your career, you realize like how rare that is.
Exactly.
The coach. So I claps, kudos, everything to Vicky. I love her so much, and I could never forget her. Like,
Yeah.
or like she's been an influence.
Yeah. Even still to this day. Okay, so before we get off the subject of college, let's just kind of like get into some of we don't have to go too far into it, but I think, a lot of times we get the advice that like, basically don't be on campus fooling around, don't be on campus, getting in trouble, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we're kids.
Right.
You get one life, we make a lot of mistakes
Mm-hmm.
and you learn from the mistakes, but then sometimes too you learn like what things you can be sneaky about, what things you can't be sneaky about, that type of thing. So like, and you talked about, a few times like getting in trouble, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
What, like just kind of looking back on it, what are some things that you would like absolutely not do again? Things that, okay, this wasn't that bad as everybody made it seem, or, that type of thing.
Mm. Things I wouldn't do again.
Yeah, things you wouldn't do again, or things that were like, because there were sometimes too that I think we would get in trouble for things that are like, this is actually, like you said, like something like being out at the student center. I get we have a curfew, cool, but it's not like, what I'm saying? We weren't out here at a party. Like, there are different things, different levels to it. So, like, what are some things that, okay, like 0 out of 10, you would not do it again versus like, this wasn't that bad.
Well, mind you, like when my first day when I moved in, I remember asking the RA like, me and Bijou were about to leave to go explore the campus. I remember I asked the RA, like, what time do we have to be back?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what?
You
I was like,
realize you grown. You in college now.
she was like, what? It's no curfew. It's no time you have to be back. And I was like, oh, this is really college.
Mm-hmm.
Been living with my parents all my life. Like, they're very protective. So this idea of freedom blew my mind. What I
Mm-hmm.
say is I'll never do again. Like, if you in Hell Week and like Hell Week is like the week you first get and you first with your team,
Mm-hmm.
just stay down. Like, just be in the cut as if you like similar to when you got to be in the cut. Like, what it's like. You have to,
Yeah.
you about to cross. Like, just stay down, stay out the way. Like, you don't need to go. There's time to explore. There's time to go see who's on campus and what's
But
there.
this ain't that.
Hell Week, this is not that. Because then you're gonna catch a stray from your teammates and your coach. That's not what you need when you first get there.
Right.
Like, you don't need that. Mind you, it took a little bit for that bad vibe, that bad taste of us in their mouth to go away.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I would say. When you first get there, when you get out of Hell Week, like until the first day of classes,
Mm-hmm.
because all athletes go early before school starts.
Mm-hmm.
Before school starts, just stay down, just be chill, stay focused on your team, be with your teammates. Don't worry about too much about everything else that's going on, please.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to distract you, and it's just going to create some type of rift or tension between you and your teammates or your coach. You don't want to set a bad vibe, bad example,
Right.
day one.
Mm-hmm.
And things that are so bad, I can't even, in my head, a lot of things are not so bad.
Uh,
So you got to think, no, that's really all I would say. Like, when you first get there, especially as a freshman, even if you're not a freshman, if you're just getting somewhere new for the first time and you're
mm-hmm.
a person, just try to, no one's telling you to be fake or try to act like someone you're not, but
But
just,
just
don't,
chill. Just feel it out.
you don't need to be on the mix so soon.
Yeah.
Trust
Mm-hmm.
me, years. So that's what I say.
Very real. Okay, and then what about like being on campus, being with other teams, just as far as, obviously not even thinking about like different times of being on campus, but in a space like Wesleyan, particularly, like I said, everybody is an athlete. So we are close with the basketball team. We are cool with, what I'm saying, soccer, with women's basketball, with all these other teams. What was that like for you, just as far as being, being an athlete, but being in a space with other athletes?
I think it was better for us because we are a smaller school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I said, our type of answers is going to be it's so different compared to some we
Is it
talk.
really though? Because I think everybody has a similar experience. It's just, it's niche to the place. But I think the more that I talk to like people, the more that I see like, the drama that we had, like dating people from other teams, like that's the same drama that I hear everywhere. It's just, like how big is the school? You might have a few other options, like stuff like that.
Well,
Um,
I felt like it's similar to you go to HBCU or you don't. Like there's differences, there's similarities with each, but like the experience is still different as a whole.
mm-hmm,
Especially for somebody, a person of color, and they go on to HBCU versus a PWI. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
I really feel like size of school
Matters.
matters a lot. Because mind you, in a bigger school, it's a lot of people we would never know
Mm-hmm.
or even come across
All right.
like we do at Wesleyan. So it's like, yeah, for us at Wesleyan, we know all athletes,
All right.
almost every athlete. And at a big school, we're going to know pretty much all the athletes, right? But we're not going to know many NARPs. If any,
Right.
we have to know a lot of NARPs at our small school. We see them every single day, sometimes in the same places. Like, I'm telling y'all, like, y'all think of school, think of very small for Wesleyan. You know what I mean? Not everybody gets that experience. So I feel as though it is very different. I feel as though if you're at a bigger school, if you only know your inner circle for real, if you're only around your team or other sports teams all the time, I feel as though you could have a different experience versus because you know how with NARPs, they may not be as focused as you
Right.
and goals as you know, at the moment.
Mhm.
Be doing whatever, whatever, whatever. You hang with them, you cool with them, you could get caught up in what they doing.
Right.
And it has nothing to do with where you trying to go with your athletic career versus
Right.
surrounded by just athletes.
Right.
Go to a powerhouse school, all your friends are athletes from that
Right.
school. I think your drive is going to be a little different.
Mhm.
So for us, that was a thing. And that's what people say about D3, D2, and D1. Like D3 is like out of the divisions, you know, because there's JUCO and everything. Out of the divisions, D3, that's where you can most have a life. That's
Mhm.
about recruiting. D2, little less of a life.
Right.
No life. That's what they used to say. I think we're fortunate for what we had to have. Um, for the way I was still young and immature, I don't know how well I would have done at a
At a
D
bigger school.
school. I did go to a D2 school for my 5th year, and I feel as though I was able to better handle that because it was way more serious. I feel as though it was better to handle that than D3, where we could still have a life. We're trying to enjoy ourselves and also be athletes. And if that's the type of dynamic you want in college, Division 3 is perfect for you.
Right.
That was
Your experience.
but I'm happy that that's what it was because if it was so serious, like from when I was
It would
8,
have
I don't know what could
where
have.
it would have gone.
So I think we could be grateful for that. We still have time to have a life, be social a little bit at least,
Mhm.
and it's not so serious, so strict, so stiff like
Right.
one athletes. Yep.
And I guess like talk to me about what that was like, kind of being in that fifth year, being a little older playing, you know,
Mhm.
yeah, just like that being a different experience rather than being, like undergrad.
So like the year after I left my grad school in Tennessee, my coaches actually went to go coach for a D1 team, UNC Asheville. So I just want to set the tone of like who I was dealing with.
Hmm.
Mind you, before they came to the D2 school, they also coached at Marshall. So we're talking like basically we're having a D1 experience.
Right.
Um, So yeah, you're a little older. So I tore my ACL, my meniscus. I had to have surgery. That was 2022. I was gonna go to Clark Atlanta for my 5th year, but because of my ACL, I they pulled the scholarship, and so I had to go somewhere else. So I ended up at Tuscaloosa University in Tennessee, and so they brought me on when I wasn't even clear yet. I was still rehabbing
Hmm.
from my surgery. They recruited me based off of my old film from Wesleyan.
Hmm.
And they still brought me on. So first of all, I just want to start with the fact that like I came for 1 year and I
Hmm.
early in the spring before the fall season actually started just to be with them. And I wasn't even cleared to play volleyball yet when I came. So the experience already for me was like, I'm on a mission. Like, I have to prove myself
Right.
because I knew I wanted to play professionally already. Because at Clark Atlanta, I was going to be able to have a chance to do that. So I knew wherever I go, I want to be able to make sure that I have a chance to play professionally. So that's part of what they had promised me. They said they had connects and everything. So I went there. So I was really determined to make sure I had a great year. And so the thing about when you go to a new school and you transfer in, and they have girls on the team who've been there 4 years, the coach favoritism thing like didn't become relevant or clear to me until this point
Hmm.
because you're literally like in a dogfight in practice every day with girls that have been here who
Hmm.
know the coaches, but yet you're here at this school because this coach is telling you you're gonna start, we need you, this is why we're bringing you on. Then you get there and you realize like maybe everything that the coach said is not so true.
Hmm.
Like, so you have to compete. You have to prove yourself. There's no like there's not even one
Guarantee.
there's not even one day I can slack off because this is how much I need to. So basically, I went there thinking I was about to be the starter, right?
Mhm.
I was basically like before the first game happened, in my head, I was like their last string.
Mhm.
Like, because I was new, like in my head, I was like a backup, mind you. They were healthy. I was still getting cleared. They started practicing while I'm still doing rehab on the side because I'm
Right.
not cleared yet. So it's a dogfight. They didn't have me in my head. I'm thinking they want me to play for them and start for them for the fall, and that just wasn't the case. But you don't know till you get there. So
Yeah.
I realize, okay, oh, I gotta. Nothing's going to be handed to me. Nothing. This is not Vicky anymore. Like I have a relationship with her, and I could trust what she say. I was trusting everything that this coach was saying before I got there about how much
Mhm.
he needed me and wanted me to play. And then you realize, they
This
already
ain't
have
that.
trust built with other people.
And it's also like this is very much a business. Like the
Yeah.
same way that we get scholarships to be at the schools, they get paid to give the school wins. So,
And they get fired if not. Like that's not really happening in D3. So I think that was like more of the experience. And you see what happened when I went to the Tusculum, we won the conference championship. They had never done that ever for
mhm.
volleyball. Then they got a pay raise and then they went D1 to coach
Mhm.
D1. Like, okay, oh, is this important? Is this important? Okay. And mind you, I didn't expect to get nothing like this unless I went D1 maybe. But then I realized, oh, okay, but maybe I can see why now. When we won the conference championship, they took some things that they knew from their Division 1 experience and they applied it to us. And when it comes to D3, I mean when it comes to D2, some things just work. Some things are gonna go better for you than other teams if they don't have that type of experience or that knowledge under their belt. So it was not easy. You got to I'm saying you got to deal with that competitiveness part. Luckily the girls were able to. It was a brand new group. It was a whole bunch of new people coming in. I was the only grad transfer 5th year, but luckily like we were still able to be close. It wasn't a problem. And I
Right.
what helped us, we were talented, we had the same goals. And I will admit the fact that it was a dog fight, everybody in practice was competing every single day because
Mhm.
they would see who would play based off stats in practice. Like
Mhm.
who had the best stats, that was who was supposed to play.
Mhm.
So we're competing every day, and they will always tell us this is always could change. So when you're competing that hard in practice every day, you're literally start to compete with the best team in the conference is in your own gym
Right.
because y'all are bringing it and you are working hard every day, then that just translates to where we were able to win the conference. But mind you, I have been on losing teams all my life. So it's like I never won a championship.
Mhm.
Then I realized, oh, okay. It's that discipline aspect of it that really that's how teams win. Okay. Oh, that's
Right.
oh, like you got to be disciplined. And they were serious. We had to be disciplined off the court and on the court. And people listened. Like when everybody has to be bought in. Like sometimes in D3, there's a lot of girls who don't care so much.
Right.
Even though they have scholarship, it's academic. So if volleyball is over, it's okay.
Like
For
they cool. Mhm.
they're cool. In Division 2, Division 1, you have athletic scholarship. Like you got to be serious about it. So that's really helped. Everybody was bought in on that team. We were competing every day for a spot. Our coaches were knowledgeable. Um, and then we won. Was it the best environment mentally for me? Not at all. It was definitely an adjustment, but I'll tell you, when I went professional, I can be happy about like it made that experience look like cake.
Right.
So I will say that, and I want to say if anybody's thinking about grad transfer, you go to new school for a 5th year, don't expect no walk in the park because you're the oldest at all. That's what I would say. So you got to be prepared to work just as hard as if you were a freshman competing for.
Right.
But it was you learn a lot of things. You know, there's pros and cons to everything. You got to pick your poison. But overall, it was such a meaningful experience to learn from.
Okay. So you brought up the pros. Talk to me. My girl just came home. Y'all, we haven't even talked about it yet. So this is really like it's a first-hand experience for everybody. My
Right.
girl was out here in the Romania of the us. Like,
Yes, far all the way like Eastern Europe, all the way
mm-hmm.
over near like Ukraine, Bulgaria. You know, they used to be Russia used to be
Right. Yeah.
Romania. So that's kind of, let me just set the tone of like where I was. Romania itself, I have nothing bad to say about Romania. Beautiful place. I lived in a little small town, so it was very, very safe. I
Mm-hmm.
walked down the street by myself in the dark for the first time ever
Mm-hmm.
being there. Mind you, there's no guns, you know, in Europe, especially in Romania.
Mm-hmm.
Felt safe. It was safe. Like the most is like people will stare at you because they you look different,
Different. Yeah.
but like you're safe. Like you feel a sense of safety. You know what I mean? So I can't complain about Romania at all. I can't complain at all because I'm very blessed about the situation to be there. But Romania itself, I have nothing to say. It's a beautiful place. They have so much like history that still stands today. It's beautiful, beautiful architecture. But when it comes to sports and volleyball, you know, when you like watch the Olympics, like the meanest coaches be looking like they from Russia,
Mm-hmm.
Romania.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was worried about when I first went there. Like, what type of coach am I about to have? Um, and kind of everything that I was thinking about, kind of worried about, you know, it was true. So, yeah, I mean, and I had a very tough coach when I was in high school. He was a guy, he was the toughest coach I've ever had, like to where the first time I'm in a practice where I hyperventilated for the first time, where girls throw up because of running,
Mm-hmm.
what we're doing. I had got my taste of that. I was 17, 16 in club. But imagine like imagine like you have to play so well that you'll be scared if you did it. And I mean scared for like what would happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? In America, at least if people are gonna be like mean or very tough or intense, they kind of at least try to hide it or mask it because you know
Mm-hmm.
you get canceled. People will report you. People will.
Right.
Yeah.
The culture is completely different.
There's no like snitching, there's no reporting, there's none of that when it comes to Romania. It's like
Yeah.
you're gonna deal with it. You're gonna have to put up with it.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody in charge of your coach that's gonna come save you.
Right.
So you better just play your dang best.
Mm-hmm.
And simply that's all it is. It's no like, you know, everybody knows here. You have a bad game, you have a good game. Maybe you have an okay game.
Right.
In Romania, there's none of that. You better have a good game every game, or she's thinking about replacing you,
Mm-hmm.
or she thinks you don't deserve to be on the court anymore. We all know the greats, the greatest. They don't. Did Michael Jordan, did he drop 40, 30 every single game?
No.
No. We
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you can have a off day.
Mm-hmm.
It's no beliefs in off days. Like
They
especially
said you
if
will be great every time.
you will have a good game every time, and especially if you're a rookie. So
Mm-hmm.
all, all of my team is Romanian. There's two foreign girls. This is the first year they've ever had Romanian foreign girls play for them. So
Uh-huh.
it's me and my teammate from Brazil. It was just us two. My,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a true rookie. My roommate, my girl from Brazil, she had played in the Super League of Brazil already.
Mm-hmm.
She was 30.
I was gonna
She
say that's another thing. Like you're playing with teammates that are
girl,
28, 29, 30, 40. You know what I'm saying? Like,
there was girls on my team. who are 15, and then my oldest was 35.
Mm-hmm.
So she
Because
was married.
overseas, you can also too. It's so much easier to play pro over there, and that's why you see so many girls over here, like especially soccer. You see that a lot. A lot of girls over here that are playing still in high school will go play pro elsewhere.
Because what sports do we care about here in America? Football,
Ball,
basketball,
basketball, baseball.
and
Yeah.
if there's a girl sport we care about, it's basketball, and that's a little.
But I will say that volleyball is growing in America. Like there are pro teams.
Yeah,
Obviously, it's nothing like overseas, but there are. Because I remember, you know what I'm saying, when I was thinking about like, okay, I want to play volleyball professionally, being here in the States was not an option at all. Like when you know what I'm saying, like when we were younger, that was not a thing. Now you have teams in like San Diego. There's that Love B, like that Atlanta team. Like there are a couple of leagues around.
and mind you, but those were just formed within the past year or
Yeah,
two.
yeah, those are more recent. Definitely in the past couple years, because Athletes Unlimited has been around for a couple of years now, but it is more recent for sure.
Right. And those girls that they're recruiting, they're
Oh, they're
like,
coming straight from Nebraska, from Wisconsin, coming from yeah.
so for me, I'm 5'10". I'm a
Mhm.
middle. I'm considered undersized
Yeah.
in the pro world.
Mhm.
So girls who are playing for American Pro, the national team, they're 6'4",
Easily.
6'5". So it's like those are the type of girls that if they're playing pro in America, they're picking the top of the pick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
they're the tallest.
They're getting the Madison Skinners and the Morgan Hints and the yeah.
Come on now. So it's like if you're just a regular old volleyball player that
Mhm.
feels as though you have enough talent to keep playing, your option is overseas. That's what you have to work with. And I'm
Right.
hoping that maybe 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, it's going to expand so much to where more people have an opportunity,
Yeah.
more than just a few teams to play professionally. They're going to have their goal is to try to have more teams in all cities.
Right. Absolutely. Let's do that, friend. Let's start a team.
Yeah. Let's start our own team.
Yeah, let's start a team. We gonna coach.
Okay. I want to be I'm the assistant though. I can't be head coach.
That's
You
fine. Listen, somebody gotta give me them yeah, who can't cross here and who can't cross there. Yeah, somebody gotta give me that.
you need the rotations.
Yeah, baby, I don't. I coach talent, okay? I can give us plays.
You
Score.
no, it's gonna be and like now I appreciate coaches a lot more than I used to.
Oh, for sure.
I was like, how hard could your job really be? You
Oh
know,
no, it's difficult. It's
right,
so very difficult. Like even when you think about something as simple as like how you set your rotation up, just as far as like setting your rotation up, because it's not like basketball where you can just like unlimited like sub people in and out. Now, granted, they do have a cap, but like you can just sub somebody out if it's a bad matchup. If it's a bad matchup, you have to worry about it next set. Like it's nothing you can do with that rotation there.
right,
Like yeah,
because the number is really set. Like,
it's cap. You have 12 subs in a
yeah, you
match.
yeah for the whole match.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's not like you could just be. And I know I'll tell you in Romania though, uh, they don't really care about the subs as much.
Okay.
Like we will take you out this game right now. You know what I mean? Like
If you're not doing what you need to do.
if they feel as though you starting to slack off even in this,
Hmm.
like, you're gonna come out this game. But yeah, and at least in America, they try to be mindful about the subs because they don't want to run out.
Yeah,
You
they're very rule oriented.
never want to get into a situation where a DS is playing outside.
Hello?
You never want to be in a situation where the middle has to play libero, has to
Hello?
throw. So, and those
Yeah.
people who know volleyball, you know what I'm talking about. You know, like how those type of things can
Yeah,
happen.
that's the scary thing. And I feel like the times that you see it happen is in like maybe club or like high school. But like
Right.
really probably high school.
And in college, you try to almost never let that
That'll
happen.
that's something you'll never see for real. That's very real. But okay, so just as far as your league, right, in Romania, what was the competition like?
So and usually in Europe and all the countries, FIVB, the Federal International Volleyball League, um, there's divisions like in NCAA.
Yeah.
The very first Super League, you compete for the country's national cup, the championship.
Mhm.
And then it's second league. Second league, you're trying to win so many games so that you can move up
You can
to
advance. Right.
the next year. And
Mhm.
there's some countries that there's a third league. They
Mhm.
try to, move your way up. Romania only had first and second league. So
Mhm.
was in I was in second league. So we're trying to compete to go to first. And that competition, honestly, I would compare I would compare Romanian second league to like the very, very best D2 team in the country in America, honestly, for me. But mind you, maybe I've scrimmaged a D1 team before at my D2 and we won. So I couldn't say like I
Because I
think you
feel
could
like volleyball
some
is
D1s
different.
are good as other D1s.
Yeah, because I
You
feel
know?
like volleyball is different too, in that like you can
Yeah.
have some
Yeah.
amazing teams, but like it really, for one, size matters. Volleyball is one of those sports where size matters so much. Like it doesn't matter if you can jump out the gym, because once you get to a certain point, everybody can jump out the gym and they have 2 feet on you. Like, yeah.
Mhm.
But I feel
Yeah.
like you can have some of the best comp in any division, in any level, but
Yeah.
it just like depends on where you're at, like that type of thing. Because I feel like also too, like I remember in club seeing, like I remember, how they used to they used to stack those super teams.
Yeah.
I remember playing against a team that had a Duke commit, a UNC commit, a Clemson commit, a Stanford
Mm,
commit. I'm like,
mm.
I'm about to call them folks on y'all, because that's not fair the way y'all just did that.
But then you realize like there's some D2 teams who will beat a D1 team, or there's
Exactly.
three who will beat
Or
a
even
D.
like, I mean, even if we think about basketball, like our girls team, they used to be clapping D1 teams. Like they were a nice team, but like I think too, that distinction is like you said, like having that balance between like athletics and like life, but then also like physique. Like physique matters to a certain, extent in any sport. And, if we're just vertically challenged, we're just vertically challenged.
But I will say, like, I hear what you're saying. Like, you can jump high, but at a certain point, everybody jumps high, right?
Everybody jumps
But
high and everybody has feet. Everybody is taller than you at a certain extent.
but it's also at a certain point when it comes to volleyball, um, IQ is gonna win. Or
Right.
it doesn't like you're. I'm 5'10".
Mhm.
In Romania, we would scrimmage our men's local team
Mhm.
for practice. So I could block, or I've blocked. I could block somebody who's 6'4" or 6,
Mhm.
simply because I'm looking at the timing,
Right.
and
I'm
that's
seeing where their swing is.
IQ. Like you can make plays.
Mhm.
You're shorter, and you jump high, and you have let's say you have a huge block in front of you. There's a way for you to score if you have
Right.
to. So yes, I'm still a firm believer in heart over height. Like, of course, there's some scenarios where it's a bit of a disadvantage,
Right.
but there's always a way. Like, it's never impossible. And unfortunately, but volleyball is becoming so much more competitive in America. Those are the type of standards they're gonna look at first.
Right.
But when you start to see more type of teams competing at the pro level,
Mhm.
and um, oh, they'll make anything work. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
My outside hitter is 5'6". We're gonna find a way for her to score, and she will.
Yeah.
Matter if the block on the other side is 6 foot plus.
Exactly.
She's gonna find a way. Also, my 6 foot girl got blocked by this 5'5" girl
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah.
It's IQ, and it's coaching. It's how much that you know. Um,
Mhm.
so I could confidently say that coaching. I used to think coaching wasn't such a big deal if your girls are talented. If your team is talented and you have chemistry,
Nah, man. Coaching matters.
it matters. It matters so much. And because there's certain things you should know as a coach, and
Right.
things you should know to avoid and what to do. And those can
Yeah.
really in games. So
Yeah, that's real.
coaches from D1, or maybe I think of the national coach. They have knowledge. They're not yelling at you. They're not gonna curse you out for every time you make a mistake, like it would happen in Romania. You know what I mean? They know.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's just a good job from the other team.
Right.
And that was a good swing by her. And
All right,
Romania,
next play.
it is like, how could you let her score?
Hmm. I
You
also think that's like a culture thing too, though. Like they're even though like I'm sure even the tone of voice in which they speak, like the nature of certain like what are they romance languages, right? So like French, Russian, Romanian, I'm sure like they fall in that where there's a little more aggression and like passion almost in the way
oh,
that they speak. So I'm sure a lot of times too part of it could be like even when we were in Scotland, like
yeah,
like some of that is too like people are saying things that we are it's uncommon to us because we're not used to hearing it, but for them it's like okay, this is how we speak to each other.
yeah. And let me tell you, there was a lot. I mean, I can't go into complete detail, but let me tell you, it was a lot of passion behind her words, a lot of passion behind us sweating. But it kind of paid off. Like I fully believe we finished top three, so we had to finish top two to move to first league.
Right.
But rumors that the team who was number two is not going to be able to. You have to have
Move.
money, a certain amount of
Right.
money. So I think like my team is going to take their place. So hey, I guess it was all worth it.
Something was they was doing something right.
Now they better go compete for the national cup next year.
Right.
Mind you, the year before they were the last. They were ranked last.
Right. So
We,
progression for sure.
we came in, we brought in two new girls, and now we got to go to the first league. Like that
That
was
was the
her.
goal. Hmm.
That's what she wanted to do. But yeah, there's passion behind that, and I also believe it's because, like I said, volleyball is not one of our sports here, but in Europe, soccer is
It's
they.
definitely soccer is huge.
There's no
Volleyball is growing. Yeah, like no one cares about
a
American.
little bit, but volleyball and soccer for the
Europe, you will find basketball. It's just not the level of play isn't the same, you know?
yeah, it's not so like it's not so serious. I met a lot of there's a lot of Americans I met in Romania. They're
Hmm.
um
Playing overseas, yeah.
yeah, but it's not so it's more serious to them. Remember we went to Scotland, you know how
Yeah.
for them cheering for soccer.
Yeah. I'm already knowing.
It was foreign. If I thought I would think the world is ending if I saw people cheering like that in America for soccer.
Hmm. It's got to be the Super Bowl.
It wasn't even that crazy for the Olympics, I think. Like,
Hmm.
and that's the best soccer team we could cheer for. You know, they are passionate, especially about their sports. But I think that goes
Hmm.
to like
Their
we're
culture, like,
we're a new country compared to these countries have been like in civilizations for years and years and years. What did we got established in what 1776 technically, where we officially became a country? There's
mhm.
more culture that these countries have. Like
Yeah. And even
basic culture, we do not.
yeah, because even like when we think back to, like, I remember hearing about like being in Scotland and like the whole the beef between the rivalry between the two teams, like the Celtics and the Rangers, had more to do with the fact that the Celtics were an Irish team that was like pushed away, like pushed off the island,
Yeah,
and now they like live, they're like they've been like ostracized away
yeah.
to this separate
Like
island, and now when they come over, it's a huge thing.
like it's actual beef. And if we let's say we got some beef between teams here, maybe it's because like the way the players
A star player jumped ship and went to another team, you might have. No, I do agree with that. And I think that's also too that goes back into like why you have your franchise teams, right? Why so many
right,
people are still Cowboys fans even though they suck. Why the Commanders have such a huge fan base. Granted they had a good year this year, but that type of thing. You have those franchise teams, people buy into, the culture, the history. But I do agree with what you're saying. Like we don't have anything like they have over there. It's a completely different. It's not even something we can fathom. And I think unless you support soccer, those are the only people that understand it. Because a lot of times they're rooting for their country.
like, yeah, they're literally rooting for their country. They're rooting for their town. They're rooting for like a real cause because 200 years ago they was ostracized and kicked out of the community. And
Yeah.
sense of security,
Yeah.
it's like re- real. We have culture, but like real culture,
Right.
culture. You're gonna see that more in Europe. And so as a result, as a residual, when you play and you're on a sport, you're gonna get that.
That type of thing.
And I think it was just a little worse for me because my coach brought in foreign girls knowing that she wanted to go to first league.
Uh-huh.
She had been, she even started this team in division in the second league so we can go to first. That's been
Uh-huh.
oh, she had put so much money and effort in things. When it came
Yeah.
to
It's a
um,
business.
started
You need to
winning,
see your return.
yeah, she was like, "This is gonna happen." So it's kind of like we knew she wasn't about the games. I mean,
Right.
early on. So I mean, it was such a different experience. And I mean, like, you better play good or you might get cussed out in front of everybody like during the game.
Right.
That's how much she wants you to play so well. Like,
Mm-hmm.
will not allow any slack.
Right.
America, maybe you could get a little bit of leniency. And I'm talking in general. I know there's some like
Because
out
this, you know what I'm saying? It's different when you get to the pro level as a whole.
there's outliers. Of course, I think there's some American college coaches who are
Not
tough.
going for that.
They're mean, but
But
imagine
yeah.
someone with no type of filter and nobody will check them.
Right. No, that's T. Then granted, okay, so this is professional. Talk to me about, and you don't have to get, too much into it, but just for people who want to play overseas, just as far as what is that like, you being an adult playing this sport, you're getting paid to play this sport. How is that for you as far as obviously you're in a different country, so expenses are different, but is it manageable? How have you managed your money? That type of thing.
Well, for me, it's a ball. Because let me tell you, any contract that you get overseas, you're going to be pretty comfortable because they're going to give you a place to live and they're going to give you meals,
Mm-hmm.
place to live. Uh, I always had lunch and dinner. I barely eat breakfast, so it wasn't a problem. I always had lunch and dinner that was provided for me. Plus, I got my contract.
Mm-hmm.
So like in Romania, like let's say $1, like it's worth $5, $6 there.
Mm-hmm.
Things cost less. I was barely spending money at all on any,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Right.
had an apartment, and I knew I was going to eat every day. It was very manageable. It was more than manageable. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was a blessing. It was unfortunate, you got to convert, $5,000 there is $1,000 here, and
Mm-hmm.
basically you losing so much. But when you there, um, you not having no worries.
Right.
It is definitely manageable. Now, if it was the same cost of expenses and living, if it was America,
Right.
I would think it'd be a little bit more of a challenge, but still having that the food and then the apartment taken care of really helps you.
Right.
Pretty much standard. For mind you, I was just I'm no special player. Like I was a regular old player coming from D2 um on a brand new team.
Don't diminish, baby. You play professional volleyball. You know what I'm saying? At that point, it doesn't. You know what
I'm
I'm saying? Like,
I didn't come out of like my D2 school. I wasn't some star. Like you know what I
but
mean?
that
Like
don't matter.
well,
There are people that want to be playing that you know what I'm saying, that want to be in your spot right now. Don't diminish, girl. Take the flowers.
oh no, no, definitely. And I'm so blessed. I'm just saying for the type of player or the amount of clout, which was basically nothing that I had coming out, and the type of contract that I was able to have, like
Mm-hmm.
you'll be fine. Like whoever you are, like you're gonna be straight because that's pretty much every contract. You're gonna have a crib. They got to give you a place to live.
Right. You have to have living. You
Um,
have to have food.
players, they had their own car. I didn't have one, but they give you a car.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, I had things. I live in a small city. I walked everywhere, so it wasn't a problem. And then
Mm-hmm.
meals per day. So for pretty much anyone, let's say if you're the best player coming out of your school, or you work a bench warmer, six man, like I was coming from your D2, it's going to be manageable. You
Mm-hmm.
will enjoy yourself. You got to make sure about what you're doing, and what kind of distractions you want to get yourself into. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but the money's going to be there.
Right.
Trust, especially for where you live, because the cost of living is so different.
Right. And so how did you get connected with your agent? Because I feel like that's another thing too, is like obviously these are not connections that we regularly have on hand to these teams overseas. There's usually an agent who does things for you.
So, like in this process, when I found this team, I had worked with two agents. I'm exclusively assigned to one, but this agent that I'm exclusively assigned to, um, there's another team in my league at D2, Wingate. I'm sure you know Wingate.
Mm-hmm.
They're a very good D2 school, known for their sports. There was a girl who was All American setter from Wingate. I heard that she was going pro, and I actually just reached out to her. I literally found her Instagram and DM'd her, and I said, who is your agent? Because mind you, my coach was supposed to help me.
Mm-hmm.
Supposed to be the one, but like I said,
Yeah.
coach tell you things just to get you somewhere.
Right.
So I did this on my own. So I mean, I connected with them just because she told me who they were, and then this other second agent, my high school coach played professional. I asked her if she knew any connects, and then she connected me with an agency that's more American based,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how it happened. So with him, I wasn't signed exclusively. It's kind of like a thing where he'll put you on his mailing list. If he thinks you're good enough, he'll accept your application, your highlight video, and sometimes they're so known that teams will reach out to him like, do you have anybody who's a middle
Right.
play? And then they'll present you. They'll ask
Mm-hmm.
if you present it as an option and you say yes or no.
Right.
Um, so it's exclusively signed to someone else, but then there's also ways where if you're not exclusively signed, there's still a chance, um, because this agency thinks you're good enough to maybe get some type of residual interest.
Right.
That's kind of how it happened for me. And it really is a connection thing. If you ever hear about anyone ever having any connections to an agent at all, you need to follow up with that. You just got to put yourself out there first. But the hardest part is finding the team, like
Right.
agent, you know, getting signed, because you're not really paying the agent until you actually get something.
Right.
You get
Mm-hmm.
a contract or something, you know what I mean? So there's no harm, there's no foul, there's no risk when it comes to that. Put yourself out there, like email them, reach out to them, DM them on Instagram. Usually is send them a highlight video, get them a reason to want to represent you. But the hard work begins like after that.
Right.
And I can't say, I mean, I'm gonna just speak personally, like, it was a miracle for me, like a literal miracle. It wasn't through my exclusive agent. I actually got found by a team off the mailing list from this other outlet.
Mm-hmm.
um but I still paid my actual agent commission, so she got all the commission, even though I was found by something else.
Right.
Something that I had to pray and stay down and wait for and be patient about.
Yeah. It is one of those.
Tell you, like, coming out of my school in D2, I had no clout. I had no like recognition, no awards. We had won the championship, and that's all I really had from that.
Right.
I wasn't even I wasn't even a starter by the time the season was over.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally. And I'm telling you, I went pro off practice film.
Mm-hmm. All you need is the footage though. Like honestly, I think that's what people don't understand is like what you need is the footage.
I had no idea. Like, and when I didn't play it, like I didn't play as much as the starters did, but of course I had my little couple of highlights.
Mm-hmm.
Highlights. was in that practice gym.
Right.
And sometimes like that's enough for some people.
Mm-hmm.
Other girls who were signed to my agent, I would look at their videos and they look like they in practice. Like they look like they at the rec,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
That's
It
all you need is the footage though. Like I think that's what people don't understand. Like a lot of times is that literally they want to see you playing, and that is that.
right. And I couldn't believe, and that's why it was such a it was a great experience for me, and that's why I feel like it was a miracle. There was just so many odds stacked against me, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, there still was a way for it to happen. But yeah, for that agency thing, find an agent. That's the easiest part for anybody who's interested.
Mm-hmm.
The real work comes after that.
Right.
And it's hard because girls get signed literally in the middle of the year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's hard to think, okay, the season starts September, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got my contract offer last year in August.
Mm-hmm.
I had been trying since April.
Right.
And I didn't get nothing come up for months right before the season was about to start. And there's also girls who get a contract mid-season, literally.
Right. That's something that, people aren't always aware of this process. And I think that's a part of also too why I want to do this, why I want to talk to, so many of my friends who I'm like, I know so many people who play professionally, play at different levels. That's another thing. Is like people don't recognize like literally when like kind of like I had said before, like there are so many levels for people to play post college, but we aren't aware. No one is sitting here telling us that you don't have to go straight to pros overseas. You could go semi pro and, get some bump and then go pro. Or this is how you get to pro. Like, I have friends now, even to this day that are still trying to get overseas and they don't realize that it's a business, right? That you have to have someone who has the connections for you because while you may have the talent, all of this is a business. So you need somebody to get the right eyes on you because there is going to be a right fit. And that's another one of those things, like you said, like just having the face, staying down, like what is for you will not pass you by. And what passes you by wasn't meant for you. You didn't miss out on the opportunity. The opportunity was never meant for you. There's something better for you. Yeah.
Right. And I was gonna say, like, yeah, volleyball is so big in Europe that literally you could get a contract to where they will bring you there to have a job, like a
Hmm.
teacher or something, and so you can play for their adult rec league.
Right.
Like you could get a contract in that way. Like it's such a big deal. But yeah, no, definitely like you can want something. Yeah, if something's for you, you will have it, and if
Hmm.
not, but with that also, like if you believe in something, like if you have faith, if your dream is so like relevant and prevalent in your heart, like this is something that you think about day and night, you gotta have it. Like literally all you gotta do, if you have good intentions, you pray about this, you give this to God, like it will happen. The thing is, it's just about you gotta be ready when you actually get it. Like
Hmm.
He answers your prayer, then what you gonna do? You gotta make sure. I'm the most humble I've ever been in my
Hmm.
entire life. Like when I first started playing and I was at Wesleyan, I was very cocky as a
Yes,
player.
my girl is a cocky player.
Was
Oh, excuse me.
that
Was.
was And I mean, things happen to you in life. Like I had to have surgery. I lost a scholarship. Like things
Yeah.
happen. You get very, very humbled. So when I remember, I love volleyball so much. I was like, I can't be without this. Like, I can't. I have to have it. It's everything to me. Then I got my contract, went to Romania, and I realized, oh,
It's
vo-
not the only thing.
volleyball is not everything. Who
Yeah.
would have thought?
Who would have I'm telling you, no, I think we all have that realization in different points of life because I was the same way until I tore my ACL and my MCL. I'm like, I remember being in school, like, there's actually nothing outside of this. And then in fact, there was something outside of this. Like, You
Right.
find life beyond. You find other ways to be involved with your sport, with what you love, and you find new loves. That's the crazy part. Like that was the craziest part to me, boy, was that like I can hold on, I can like something else.
Like, oh, there's more to life than this.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe it. But then it's crazy how you got to get those great things that you
Thought you
always
wanted.
about,
Yeah.
that you wanted so bad,
Uh-huh.
and then you got it, and then it's like, oh, I could do without this.
Right.
But the love is still there, the passion is still there, but you realize, okay, if it was over, the world will not end like I used to
Right.
think.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And I'm saying that's such an experience. Like if you this is what you want to do, like this is your dream, you got to do it, you got to have it. Remember everything that I said so far. Like everything comes with a price.
Yeah.
In one way or another, it could be, I was fortunate enough, like half of the girls in Romania spoke English fluently. So,
Oh,
but
and that's not an everywhere thing.
my girl from Brazil, nobody spoke Portuguese. She had to learn Romanian.
Right.
Like I didn't really have to learn it because everybody just translated for me.
Mm-hmm.
My coach didn't speak English at all, so that kind of, it was a pro and a con. Um, but it's an experience. Like you could be in a place where you feel like you don't belong for
Right.
not. Think about the wearing your body. Like by the time the 9 months is over, you didn't practice and played 6
Baby.
a week.
And we're adults now. This is not the same bounce back body from college, from high school. We're adults now.
Not at all. And it's gonna set in about that fifth month, 6 month. You're like, oh dang, okay. This is the real
Mm-hmm.
deal. The wear and tear in your body, the mental aspect that could come from, you could have a coach who's very, very tough on you, and you've never experienced that before.
Right.
Um, there's that. There's so you got to deal with. You're the outsider. Your
Yeah.
coach may have more favoritism towards your teammate because she's Romanian or she's from the country that you're in.
Right.
You got to work twice as hard
Yeah.
to, stand out. Even though you're the one with the contract,
Yeah.
you're the one with the
It don't listen.
team. You're the one with the big contracts, like out of the whole team. You're the one. You're supposed to be kind of like the star, like that they brought.
Mm-hmm.
But trust me, like it
You
doesn't.
gotta go through all of those experiences. Like it's one of those things where like God will make you he won't give you something before you're ready for it. And
Right.
so, in the times where you may have had a different perspective, you may have been holding yourself differently, God didn't give it to you because you weren't ready for it. But he
Right.
said, let me break my girl down real quick, remind her, you know what
Right.
I'm saying? Okay, now you're ready for it. Now you're ready.
Or let's say you go through it, and you don't feel like you're ready, but you find that God is carrying you through the whole thing.
Yeah,
Then when it's over, you're like, oh, all right,
I see.
I'm more built for this. I'm
Okay.
for it. And that's why I feel like, I mean, this is me speaking, like, as a woman, a guy. Like, if you want to go farther in your career when it comes to sports, I would really recommend you have a very firm foundation,
Yeah.
and God, or hopefully it's God, whatever you believe in.
Yeah.
Like you need to have a firm
Whatever
foundation,
your higher power is, you need to be talking to them daily.
girl, daily, multiple times a day. Like
Mm-hmm.
when I first got there, things were great. We was winning. I was starting. I was helping us win. Some girls started to leave the team, and we had to bring in new girls.
Mm-hmm.
Competition dogfight all over again, like it was in grad school. Things started to get hard for me mentally. I was on the bench a little more. My coach was more tough on me than she had ever been.
Mm-hmm.
And that foundation really helped me get through, because then you start to realize, okay, all I got to do is go and ball and practice, and I feel satisfied. Like, let's say you feel like your coach is not really seeing you. She's not seeing your effort. She's not seeing your ethic. you go to practice knowing there's no pressure. She already the pressure's on other people who
Mm-hmm.
she's so she wants to play or wants to win the game. But I'm coming in here and I'm standing out on my own
Right.
because I have such a close relationship with God. Like I'm playing for the purpose of Him. He brought me here. I'm having fun. I'm relishing in the dream that He gave me. I'm not worried about what she's saying or what she's doing. As
Right.
a, you do things better. You start to do things better. You plan better. It's no pressure because like you here with it and you not worry about what's going on like around
Right.
and it's keeping you sane. You know what I mean? Like, you know,
Yeah.
there's a certain peace that comes with praying, meditating,
Right.
spending time with God. So I'm saying if somebody does it, I don't know how people do it. If you want to go through that experience without that foundation, you could drive yourself crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I wouldn't recommend for anyone. And I'm just saying, if you don't believe or if you're not right with God, let's try to get there before you decide you want to move across the world for 9 months
Mm-hmm.
away from
So
home.
you have something. Okay, yeah. Period. Clock that. Okay, so the last thing that I really have is just like, if there's anything you want to add, but pretty much, where can people keep up with you? If they have questions and they want to reach out to you, how can people tap in?
Uh, the best place that you're gonna reach me is Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Lauren.Danielle301. My Instagram, you could DM me anytime. I'm open to questions. I mean, I have like all the platforms, but really,
Instagram.
yeah,
Easy.
you could just reach me there. Like my Facebook is like a burner I don't use.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, I don't text me on Snapchat. Um,
Okay, so we're gonna do Instagram, and there's gonna be that on that. So, girl, I just want to say I'm so very proud of you. Give you your flowers. This has been your dream, and so I'm so proud of you and everything, all that you've accomplished to be able to see you live that out. I'm so happy for you. Like, I just listen. We did get up out of Wesley, and I tell you that. But yeah, I had to give my girl her flowers. But yeah, this has been another episode of the She Don't Miss podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all the things, tap in, and yeah.